I wanted to focus a little bit on you and your story. So I know you've been someone who's been trying to go back to Nepal and you like stay there, because I think it's very common for people from either like my age group or older to kind of like still want to go back to Nepal, and due to various reasons, whether it's personal or professional, but it seems the road is always difficult. So what has been your experience kind of like staying in Nepal, moving out, and how do you feel kind of like that worked out for you?
Actually, someone Nepal twice moved right? Once undergrad finished and two more after finishing my MBA and working more for more years and so on. And the experiences were very different, actually, very drastically different, I think, right? While I say, I'll sort of share a little bit on the personal side. My dad passed away when I was in high school, right? So that's, obviously a big sort of loss in general in my life and everything. But my father-in-law, who health was always on the weaker usma थियो, and I felt like my future children should get to know not just my mom and so on, but at least one grandparent, one grandfather is important जस्तो लाग्थ्यो कि मलाई, right? And it's obviously an emotional sort of thing. That was a big reason in terms of that is going to be an important thing भनेर. So I don't never regret that decision. That I, again, very sort of pulled by personal sort of choices and everything. In terms of the two moves, Matt, I think what was different is the planning or the conversation I had, before and during and so on, right? And I think that sort of is something a lot of us don't do, okay? Right? Moving to Nepal is more on the personal sort of pull नै हुन्छ धेरैको लागि, right? तर what we do, and I think it's a very cultural thing as well, we don't discuss the difficult conversations पहिले के, right? What does moving to Nepal mean in terms of a lifestyle, right? It means we're all so used to living independently, alikiti free हिसाबले. Going back to Nepal in a joint family has its perks, but also has its challenges, right? And the society, the good and bad of it in terms of people always being there and so on. To like anything else, right? I mean, whether it's a project, when you look at all these nuances, when you plan for it, you don't get any surprises, right? For a lot of people, I think what happens is they think about this decision for a really long time. They debate about it and sort of, some people actually do move, right? But it's so difficult conversations. People don't do it, okay? In terms of what are some things that are that you want to negotiate on, and what are some things that you don't want to, okay? Right? What is going to be your dynamics as you move back as a family? It's going to be different. There's layers of it, right? In terms of the family situations and so on. But if you plan better, you sort of have your life is better, right? Because you sort of deal with kind of things. So one is that I think just in terms of advice, whoever's thinking about it, I think don't delay these conversations. Okay, just as a family, you should have honest conversation in terms of what does moving back actually mean, right? Not just in terms of job situation and so on, but even in terms of living situation. What does that mean, and how can you prepare for it, right? One is that. Only two, I think that I'm realizing more and more as well, that you don't have to move, okay? Right? Because kati cases it's hard to move, right? It means uprooting everything you have. But what that means, you should make an intentional effort of opening up access and your networks and तिम्रो knowledge share गर्नेको त्यो you should be more intentional about it, right? Because कति times चाहिँ I think people can make a bigger impact by just staying where they are, that are actually doing something about it, doing something about really helping people. त्यो I think त्यो needs to happen, right? But it also means how do you sort of let go of that guilt, right? So the guilt of, okay, am I, just wasting my life in the US or wherever, and I'm not really contributing to Nepal, or I'm not really spending time with family. The guilt you should let go. And I think 3 months, again, this your Nepal trip, sort of, I realized it more. I think there's a lot of potential for, I'll call it diaspora services, which means बाहिर भएको मान्छेहरू र त्यो फ्यामिलीको बिचमाको all these kind of feelings, all real problems that we're sort of facing, त्यो mitigate गर्न पनि I think there's a lot of business potential as well, right? In terms of how we really care for when we can't move, when we can visit once or twice a year, how do we sort of take care of our families in the meantime and so on. So there's a lot that can be done.